All right, here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our team Zoom. My name is Harlequin Murray. I'm glad you're here. And for those of you who are new for the first time, welcome to the team. We appreciate you coming and we're glad you've joined us. But we do this Zoom every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we are led on this by our awesome team leader, Miss Ellen Winn. And it is my honor and privilege to introduce you to her. And for those of you who have not been on our Zooms before, just a little bit about her background. Ellen grew up on a farm just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in a town called Dallas. And whenever she got out of school, she went into the restaurant industry, worked there for many years. She ended up working her way up on the corporate side up to regional manager and training director for Domino's Pizza. And then she decided to branch out on her own and become a business owner for the first time. And she started her own pizza restaurant. She actually had 2 locations and did that for several years. And during that time period, or after that, I believe, just after that, she was introduced to network marketing and has been a part of several different organizations. And she kind of continued her training background. And whenever I met her, gosh, it's been about 18 years ago now, she was the national training director for a network marketing company, and she was my upline in that organization. And we have been friends ever since. And she is my personal sponsor, which I'm blessed to have happen. But anyway, she has a very strong training background. She has led thousands of people to success in network marketing. And she is one of our area directors in the DAC compensation plan. And without further ado, I'm going to have Miss Ellen Winn take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Harlequin. I appreciate that. And so excited to see all you guys on screen tonight, on camera. I love it when I see your faces there. Let me see who all we have. Look at that. We have 4 or 5 of you on camera. Some of you just have images up, but it's always good if you have an opportunity to ask a question. I love seeing you on camera. So yeah, Harlequin, we've known each other quite a while, and this is an exciting time. I reflect back on when I was working in corporate America, and that working my way up the corporate ladder. I know a lot of you are doing that now and have been doing that for years. I was fortunate to leave in 1997 and never look back. And I love the lifestyle that I have today as an entrepreneur, the time freedom that I have, the flexibility that I have, and the ability that I have to get out and intermingle with my community and friends and family. I live next door to my brother and sister, and I was sitting here in my home office working today. I looked out the driveway and I saw my brother-in-law and sister walking down the drive. We're about a quarter mile off of the road, and I got to walk out and just chat with them in the driveway. If I'd worked a traditional job, I wouldn't be able to do that. Well, you may be saying, why is that such a big deal? Well, my sister is 14 and a half years older than I am, and she has Parkinson's. So to see her out walking in the sun today is really special to me, and the ability to be able to stay here close by and be able to spend time with them is just priceless. Okay, so I want to take you through the beginning of what I do each week, and that is going through our training, our slides that I put together with our top recruiters. So let me get us into slide share mode and make sure you can see my screen there. Should have the presentation up. You seeing that, Harlequin? Presentation slides? Yep, awesome. Thank you. Okay, all right, so I start off every week with the top recruiters. And this has been a bit more of a challenge for me to do because of the reporting differences that I'm seeing in the back office, but I know that there are going to be some changes and enhancements and improvements to the reporting. Guys, if you're new on here, You're coming in at a perfect time. We just have come off of working with another company for the past 5 years. We've shared a back office with the other company, and that meant that we were limited on some of the things that we could do as a services company. So we broke ties with that nutritional consumer product-based company in January, on January the 1st. January was a little bit bumpy. We went through some transitions with our technology. February 1st, we moved over to the database that we're on now. I believe this is going to be our permanent database. This company can do some amazing things for us, and they have some amazing things laid out. But it's a perfect time to be building a business. We're going to talk about recruiting tonight, why you want to be building a team, and some verbiage to use to invite people to take a look at the opportunity. But let's go through the top recruiters. And I go through the top recruiters because recruiting and building a team and having a network of agents across the country is really the lifeblood of our business. So let's get into it. I have, this is for the week of 2/6 through yesterday, 2/12. In first place, and I didn't put our first place and all the numbers to the left there, but in first place, we had Joshua Bryant. Congratulations, Joshua. You had 10 recruits, and I'm choking here. 10 new agents. Way to go. I came in second place with 5 new recruits. In third place, we had DeAnthony Thomas. In fourth place, we had a 2-way tie with Erica Raymond and Sunil Desai. In fifth place, we had a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fifth place, we had a 4-way tie with A-Plan Business Services, Miriam McMillan, Octavia Nichols, and Paul Williams. So congratulations to you guys on the leaderboard. We had many people that had 1 recruit, but you had to have 2 to make it to the leaderboard. This week, we had a total of 35 people who had at least 1 new agent recruited for the week, and a total of 59 new agents coming into my team, my organization, right? I believe, I don't know, I haven't asked this from David, but I believe that I have the largest organization inside of DAC as far as someone who is actively focused and building David Allen Capital. When we were partnered with Longevity, the previous company that I was mentioning, you know, we were a member in the middle of tens of thousands of agents combined with that other company, but not everybody came over here. So as far as DAC focused, I think I've got the largest organization, and I couldn't have done that without you, right? You guys are all an integral part of that and an integral part of the growth that we have. Not only being one of the largest organizations in the company, the largest producing organization, that's really what it all boils down to is, are we producing numbers? Are we producing clients for the company and producing clients for our own business? Because we're business owners, we're agency owners here. If we're not bringing clients to the company, then nobody's making money. Just like in a traditional business, if you don't have clients walking through the door and buying your products in a retail location, you're not making money. I know all of my time in the restaurant industry, when I opened my doors for the very first day of business, we didn't do any marketing whatsoever. I didn't need to do marketing. I opened up on Main Street in my hometown community, and I had people for a couple of months when we were doing the build out on the location and the remodel. I had people for a couple of months saying, Ellen, when are you opening? When are you opening? They knew I had been working for Domino's Pizza, knew I'd been in the pizza business for over 8 years, and were excited that I was opening my own brand from scratch, from the dirt all the way up. So I didn't do any marketing. I just did word of mouth advertising. But I knew if I didn't have customers either coming through the door for a dine-in and carry-out business, or my phone's ringing for our delivery service, I wasn't going to be generating revenue, which that revenue was essential for me to be able to pay my employees, to buy inventory, to pay my rent, my utilities every month, pay all of the workers' compensation, insurance, payroll taxes, everything that goes into the cost of retail business. So that's part of why I'm so passionate about what we do here with DAC, because of my background, my experience, and having been in that business owner's shoes. I'm still in those shoes today, but I'm not having to sweat it because I don't have employees, right? I don't have employees, and I'm not having to worry about the high overhead of a traditional business. I'm not having to worry about payroll. I'm not worried about all the insurance that goes along with it. Instead, I'm getting to take advantage of massive deductions now. So I want you to see the value of what we have with DAC, and let's talk about recruiting in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to go through the website, and part of the website, I'm going to take you through the recruiting thing. I want to pop this up because this is a issue over and over and over again. I see agents that just don't pay attention to the training, and I don't want you to be one of those. You're here for a reason. I want to make sure you're leaving here with some valuable information, and that is on our websites. Each page of our website has a unique URL so that you can send someone directly to the page that you want them to see. So if you're talking to somebody about equipment financing, you can send them to the equipment financing page. So when they click on the link to your website, that's the first thing they see, right? You can send them to davidallencapital.com, which is our homepage. And actually the screenshot here showing all of these boxes of different services, that is a screenshot of the homepage. If I wanted to send someone to davidallencapital.com/my-ID, I could, and then I would have to say, and you can scroll across the page and look for the product, or you can scroll down, but it's much easier if I send the client directly to where I want them to be. So the main thing that you need to take away is that you have to add your agent ID number to the end of every single link that you share. Now, I'm going to go over to our actual website here and show you a couple of things. One question I brought up today on our leadership Zoom, I noticed overnight or over the weekend, my name used to say Ellen Winn at the top. And I noticed this morning that it is now populating my LLC name, which many of you know I operate under Prime Choice Partners LLC. When we were with Longevity, it always showed that, right? But I'm doing a lot of things in my local community, and I'm branding myself as Ellen Winn Agency or the Winn Agency. I don't have an LLC under that name yet. I'm thinking of changing my Prime Choice Partners, changing the name of that entity to the Winn Agency, but I'm branding myself as Ellen Winn Agency with David Allen Capital. So I want my name to show up there when I'm marketing and one of my local chamber members goes to my website, because they may look at it and go, who's Prime Choice Partners, right? I want them to see my name. So I got word from David Rutz this afternoon that sometime by the end of the day today, most likely, they are going to make the back office one where you cannot change your name and you cannot change your company name without sending in a request to the company, okay? Because those are the legal documents that we have. If you came in, signed up with under your name and using your social security number, then that's the name that DAC needs on file, because that's who they will be sending a 1099 to on your income if you make over $600 this year. If you signed up as a business entity like I did using an EIN number, then they need your company registration on file in the back office, right? But what's going to happen is those are going to be locked pieces of data where you won't be able to change it without sending in something to the corporate office. But what you will be able to do is select which one of those names you want displayed on your website. And I think that's the absolute perfect position. So if you came in as a corporate entity or LLC business entity, but you'd rather operate under your name for marketing purposes, then you'd be able to select that. Okay, so I'm excited to see that change coming. Those of you that were on the Tuesday night Zoom with our new Relevate launch, an exciting place to be. I'm going to go through some details on that in just a minute, but I just want to point out a few things here on the website and go through some basic things that if you're new, always reflect back and go back to the website, because most of the information that you need about a product or a service is right there in front of you. So if you're usually talking about funding or just one product, because we always say pick a lane, pick a lane and focus on that lane and get really good at that. But it's inevitable if you're talking to people about ERCs, somebody's going to ask you about our funding, right? And they may ask you about equipment financing or the asset-backed funding. And it may be a question that you're just not real familiar with that particular product. One solution is to have your your quick reference PDF available, and I'll show you where that is. But the best quick solution is say, oh, those are great questions. Let's go look at the website, right? So let's say somebody asks you about equipment financing. You can click on the equipment financing tab. And when it opens up, let's see, wow, we can fund up to $200,000 for equipment, all types of equipment from 20,000 to 200,000 with a one-page application, and the terms are going to be from 2 to 6 years. See, it's right here on the page. And we can do a quick turnaround on that, 1 to 2 day turnaround. Okay. So those are some of the basic questions that you'll get on that. Asset-backed funding, same thing. But I really want to point out now the employee retention credit. This application has been updated. You can get over and click on that tab. This has been updated, and it is a really slick and smooth application sequence. Okay. So the client goes in, and remember, if you haven't gone through the training on this, this program is limited. It completely expires in 2025. By April of next year, the biggest portion of this is going to have expired because businesses won't have a full 2 year window to reflect back on to do that adjusted payroll return. But on the employee retention credit, this application is super simple. Again, the information that you need is on the website, asking the questions. These are the pre-qualifying questions. And if they can answer yes to any one of these questions, then most likely they qualify, right? What is our process? What is the ERC right there on the site? What is our process? This shows that there's no upfront retainer required, and the process going through from filling out, uploading documents, and so on. But the one thing that you need to know about this process is when a client clicks on determine your eligibility, they're going to fill out a brief form on the Bank Breezy DAC co-branded page, and let this page open up. One thing also, while you're on here, you cannot use this page. You cannot send clients directly to this co-branded page. Okay. Our agreement with Bank Breezy says that we're David Allen Capital agents. We're not Bank Breezy independent agents. So you have to go through the David Allen Capital branded page, right? And I think it's a beautiful site. So why wouldn't you want to use it, right? But you're going to send people through there. Once they get to this page, they're going to fill in their name, their company name, mobile phone number, click submit. And once they click submit, that's a lead page. It's going to send you an email letting you know that someone has started the employee retention credit application. But just because you get an email doesn't mean that they've gone on through the process. So what you want to do when somebody gets here and you get that email, yay, somebody started the ERC, you want to reach out to the client and you want to have a conversation with them. Just introduce yourself. If it's someone that you know, then it'll be an easy conversation. If it's someone that you don't know, introduce yourself. So I'm going to go through what I would say if someone filled out a form on my site and I didn't recognize that name or the business, right? I will call them up, verify that I'm speaking to the person that filled out the form and that whose name I got on the little email that I got, email notification. And let's say their name is Sharon. All right. So I'd say, is this Sharon? Yes. Hey, Sharon, this is Ellen Winn with David Allen Capital. I see that you just started the employee retention tax credit application on our website. And I wanted to see if you've had an opportunity to talk with the the ERC team, our CPA team, and listen, right? Sharon will tell me, oh yeah, well, I haven't done that, or no, I just filled out the first page. Because the main thing you want to do is make sure that they made it all the way over to the CPA team, right? So when they submit this and they answer those 4 questions, the screen is going to say, congratulations, we believe you qualify for an employee retention tax credit. Click here to continue. They must click here to continue to go on through. They're going to fill in a few basic questions about their business. And when they do that and click submit, now they're on the ERC Pros portal. And that means they're going to be getting an email from the ERC team. Until that client makes it there, they're in this gaping hole, the hole between filling out the lead form on your David Allen Capital page to getting over to the ERC team. So you want to be good at just reaching out to the client, introducing yourself, and following up. And I would encourage you to do that with every single thing that we do, everything that we market. Reach out and talk to your client. I know I had an application come in on Saturday for Bank Breezy, and the client got sent over to the bigger funding because they were doing 50,000 plus in revenue. I saw that come in on Saturday, and I'm going, okay, I'm not going to sit back and wait until Monday. I want this gentleman to know that our offices are closed over the weekend. Some people would assume they are, right? But I'm not going to leave that to doubt. So I sent them an email because I had his name, email address, and information in the notification that I received. I immediately sent him an email and introduced myself. As first name, hey, this is Ellen with David Allen Capital. I see that you've started a business funding application on our site. Just wanted to know that we have received the first notification on this. Our team will be in, and this was after I saw the signed application. Our team will be back in the office on Monday morning, and as soon as they get in, they'll start to work on your file. I sent him just that short little note, and within 30 minutes, I had an email response back from him saying, thank you, appreciate the update. I look forward to hearing from your team on Monday. That way, he's not out there trying to find somebody else that's going to respond over the weekend, right? So it's all about communication. The next thing I want to show you is, let me go back over to the DAC site, and that is our Employee Relevate Pay Any Day program. Now, notice it is not on the top of the website up here. You got to look for it. That's why you want to be able to send people directly to the page that you're referring to, right? It's listed under additional services right here under Pay Any Day, or you can go up to the main menu, the little hamburger menu in the top right. And when you open that, every service that we offer is listed on this menu. So just scroll down until it's highlighted and then click on that, and it's going to open up the page. This is a beautiful page, tells the client what they need to know. Be a hero employer with interest-free Pay Any Day advances. Your employees are going to love you. How it works. This is just a brief 5-point stages of how this works, okay? And then the benefits of it are down here under the digital account. We also have a flyer in the Agent Resource Center that goes along with this. So you want to be able to use that to your benefit and get the word out. So let me go over and show you that in the Agent Resource Center. And there are two ways to get to the Agent Resource Center. You can go log in to your back office and go to the Agent Resource Center from there, or you can go down through the bottom of the page here. Actually, I'm going to go through the back office. So let me go click on that. And this is a demo account that I opened up and showed you guys last week. But some really cool stuff here. If you have personally enrolled agents, you'll see those numbers here. If you have a team growing, you'll see those numbers here. If you've had fundings and clients, they're not showing up yet. They haven't moved those reports over here, but the things that are active, remember I was just talking about being able to edit your information. That's under account, where you can go in and update personal info. That's going to be locked. Those fields will be locked, and you'll be able to choose which one you want on your page. And that's not updated yet. But the Agent Resource Center is here. Okay, so that's a direct link through the back office. Also, to get your pay account, get Relevate under account here, get Relevate. This is the account that we're marketing. Okay, so if you don't have your Relevate account yet, which is how you're going to get paid with your DAC direct bonuses, you need to set up your Relevate account. I walked through this with an agent yesterday who had not gotten this set up. It took us less than 2 minutes to go in and fill it out. Let's get started. Verify. Since you're going through your back office, it already has your email and your agent information attached to it. So you'll go through, fill that out, and then go check your email for verification that they send over. That's it. It's really simple. Okay. So get used to using your back office here, and also stay connected. If you have tickets that you need to send in to support, go to stay connected, click contact us. And here you can send in a support ticket to the David Allen Capital support team. Type in what it is that you need. This automatically attaches your agent ID and your email so that they're not having to go back and forth. Many times I know that it happens with support all the time, because many times I'll get phone calls, I'll get text messages, and I get emails from people that y'all that are on my team. And I guess y'all automatically assume that I have your information. I don't. So when you call me or you email me, if you don't tell me who you are, your agent number, any of that, all I see is your name and maybe an email. And sometimes your name is not easy to determine who you are. So having that agent ID automatically attached is really helpful. Okay, so let's go over to the Agent Resource Center, and I've got that tab already open here. I'll close those out. Agent Resource Center, resources, under business services, employee retention credit. We've got all of your tools there, right? Again, this is a time-sensitive program, so if you're going to be marketing this, you need to be on it. I love the fact that we have just launched the Relevate program, and I don't think it's been added to the back office. Harlequin, have you seen that, or anybody else? Have y'all seen that we have the Relevate training in the back office here or in the Agent Resource Center? Anybody seen that?
I will look for it. I think I remember seeing it on the home page.
Let's look.
Yeah, new services. That's the January 17th.
Yep. That's when we launched the other funding program. So yeah, it's not on here. So we're going to get that added, but you got the employer flyer, the square, and the brochure that I just mentioned. This customized brochure really is exactly what's on your website, but it's something that you can go in and customize through the Canva account. If you don't know how to customize it, watch this little video where Tyler takes you through a training session on how to use this, how to customize the brochure, right? And I'm going to talk to them about that, and I'll ask that they put it in here. But the Getting Started tab is really where your basic information is. So here you have your business capital training, the employee retention, compensation videos. David was working towards having our compensation documents ready today. He did not get those ready. I imagine that they'll be ready in the next day or two, and we'll probably be hearing an announcement that we're going to have a compensation training. I can't wait to see those, to see some of the additional enhancements. He updated the comp plan last week to where now you get a minimum of 4% on the funded value of a funding. So that's in line with what you earn on the ERCs, 4% on funding, 4% on what the client gets back on ERCs, and that increase the overrides for the enroller and the up team. He did some changes there. And today he said he made a couple other enhancements. So I can't wait to see what those are, because more money getting paid to the right people is always a big win. And that's the people that are active and the people that are actively working and supporting their teams, right? So looking forward to seeing that. All right, so one other thing I want to show you on the website, and then we'll go back to the face-to-face and take any questions that you have. But most of the time, when you have a question about anything, just go in here to the Agent Resource Center. Again, you can get there through the back office or through the bottom of the site. But what I want to go to now is got to go back over to David Allen Capital, is become an agent. Okay. If you guys didn't realize this, I sent it out yesterday in an email, but this business presentation video there is the brand new video that David did on Tuesday night. So it covers all of our new services that are live. It covers what we have now, the new Relevate Pay Any Day card, and it covers some tips on our compensation, and it covers him at the end of the video talking about how DAC is so different from other companies in the direct selling space. So just know this is a ready to go, ready to refer page if you're going to be recruiting agents. So I said I would talk about recruiting. Make sure, remember, at the end of every link, it needs to end in / your ID number or your URL name. I went in and changed my URL name, so it's my name, / Ellen Winn or / my ID number, right? But make sure that you add that to the end of the link before you highlight and copy that link to send out to anyone. All right. But here's what you need to do. If you're recruiting, I know some of you and myself included, I've always got some sort of ad out there running in the background so that people that are looking for a home-based business opportunity or a work from home or a remote work opportunity are going to run across something that I have out there. Many of you are running some ads and so on. But what your best bet is to actually invite people that you meet. Harlequin does a lot of networking, and she's recruited a lot of people through some of the professional network associations that she runs across, because she's running into people that are already in B2B programs, and this is a great add-on to what they're doing. If you are interested in recruiting someone that's face-to-face, you may have already told them a little bit about what we do. We're in business services. And if their interest is piqued, then just say, hey, keep your options open for extra streams of income. We have a turnkey solution that is no cost to you whatsoever and is pays big upfront money and residually as well. That might be a conversation that you have with a business owner. Me personally, if I'm talking to someone that doesn't know what we're doing at all, I'll just ask if they keep their options open for making extra money outside of what they currently do. And if they say, well, yeah, I'm always up for making extra money. What do you got? And I would say, well, I've got something that I want to show you. There's 3 points to this. I want to show you. It'll only take about 15 minutes and it may or may not be a good fit. Those 3 points right there, I've literally recruited thousands of people over the years with those 3 points. Okay. All right. But Ellen, your presentation is 45 minutes long. How's it 15 minutes? Within the first 15 minutes of the presentation, they're going to know whether this is something they're interested in or not. Right. So really, it'll only take them about 15 minutes to make a decision whether they want to keep watching or not. It may or may not be a good fit. You're giving them an out, right? You're not making them feel like they're going to be pressured into something if they want to take a look at it. And saying I have something I want to show you is important. That means that you're not going to tell them the story about DAC. You're not going to tell them about the opportunity. You're going to show them the video by sending them a link so that they can go in and hear 100% of the information directly from the horse's mouth. Because when we start telling the story, it's inevitable. We're going to leave out bits and pieces of the information, but if they watch the video, everybody gets the same information. So that's my tips and pointers on recruiting. Let me get us off a screen share and let's see if we've got any. Oh, I already see some hands up and some questions in the chat. Let's go to the hands up first. Joshua Bryant, our #1 recruiter this week. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight?
How are you ladies doing, and how's everyone else doing tonight?
Excellent. Thank you.
Wonderful. First question, not DAC related. Did you get a new computer?
I did.
I could tell because everything works absolutely flawless. And in the back of my mind, I didn't think it was a bandwidth problem. I thought it was a RAM problem. But I was going to mention it to you, personally, but you said you already had one ordered. So I just kind of figured.
Yeah, thanks, Joshua. I got it in. I've got a Lenovo X1 Chromebook. So I've got the portability and it's a workhorse. Lenovo's are awesome, but it came in the other day. I got a widescreen monitor, and today I had my hub came in and some speakers, and I have a new camera coming too and a mic boom. So I'm set up to work from
living
home.
The dream to be on the computer. My question was, I can't help but notice how absolutely gorgeous those Relevate Brochures are front and back. I just, customized the QR code, and I've sent off a short run to Office Depot for print, and I'm going to send off an order for like 1,000 of them from Vistaprint. But I mentioned it slightly in the corporate Zoom, but is there a way we can team up together and get Tyler to make those for the ERCs as well? Like, just to the degree of how the Relevate one looks, because it looks so good. I didn't even want to modify it other than add my information.
Now, when you
Um,
say the brochure, are you talking about the 2-page brochure that has the information on it?
Yeah, so the one for Relevant, you almost clicked on it earlier,
Mhm.
but that's exactly what I'm talking about. And what I've done is I've sent off the short run to be printed front to back. So it's going to be one sheet of paper. They look at the front, they look at the back. Oh, there's a QR code, and scan it. And I looked to see if we had the same kind of principle in the ERCs, but we didn't. So for right now, what I got going on is just, a card, kind of like the Connect cards. But if they could just make a brochure for the ERC to where it's front and back, a deep amount of information like they did with the Relevate, I would just run the crap out of those because they're
There is
amazing.
one. I made
Maybe
one. I made one from the back
you made one.
office.
Well, if you're trying to come up off of that thing and email it to me, I'd be more than happy to get those things printed.
Let me go back. It's not front and back. It's a 1-page document. So you may have seen it and just don't think it's as good as, let me go back to screen share. So I'm in under business services, employee retention, and this brochure, it's awesome. It works. I've used
Oh,
it.
snap.
Yep, I've gone
I,
in and put it in front of a business owner and just said, hey, were you guys able to get this money back on your payroll taxes up to 26,000 per employee? And they're looking at it, because I always like to have a tool to be
yes.
pointing and talking, right? So that they're following along, so that I can take them through and say, well, if you're interested in applying, here's my information, pointing to the bottom of the screen there. So does that help you?
Well, I see it now. I must have overlooked it, but thank you so much, Miss Ellen. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
once again. I think you've got a habit of being on top of things before I even think to ask about them. So I'll just quit asking, and you can just point me in the right direction. How about that?
No, I love your attentiveness to detail there, Joshua. And guys, listen to what he's doing. He's going down, he's getting things printed, he's getting out there, he's got his plan of action together, he's building a team. And I know that you've already said that you're emailing your team, you're communicating by phone, you're texting them welcome, and then you're calling them too. You're spending time and really working towards building your business. I'm in production mode right now myself, and it's like, it feels like, I was thinking about this earlier today. It really feels like we have just launched a brand new company. It really feels that way to me. However, we've launched a brand new company without all of the headaches of brand new stuff, right? Other than the little technology glitch there, because the foundation of our company is 7 years old. The systems are there. The support team is there. The services are there. The systems with the services are there as well. But it really has a fresh feel on it to me. So I'm in restructuring mode with what I'm doing time-wise, and really doing what I tell you guys to do. Make that list, right? I've got a long list of businesses that I'm working on reaching out to and finding the right person to connect with. And that, if we're talking about Relevate, we're looking for the HR person, someone that's in their benefits and HR team. And those doors are starting to open. So have that plan in place as you do, Joshua, and I know you're going to have some great success with it. Did you have any other questions?
Absolutely no, and I appreciate it. And yeah, I was on the building phase, but this week, as soon as I pick these orders up tomorrow from Office Depot, I'm going to be out there hustling. And I wouldn't be surprised if I don't have, a lot of solid stuff coming in. And if I can, just for a moment, I know David was talking about running ads. Ads are great, but the problem is, and I saw, some of those conversations he was talking about in our Facebook group. Well, the issue is, when you're running ads, you're not developing a human connection with the other person on that ad. So, in marketing, I call it big ask versus little ask, right? And, my real estate agent clients, they have a huge ask. They're either asking somebody to sell their house or buy a house. That's a really big ask. Why real estate agents are successful is because they develop the person-to-person human connection with people. I've ran and tried running ads for real estate agents before. They don't convert. Yeah, they'll click onto the page and look at it, but it's a really big ask. You've got to breach, a trust barrier between human to human psychology. You've got to build that trust to get them. When you're asking someone to enter your social or connect your bank credentials, they need to know there's a human connection, and it's not a problem with the Bank Breezy app sequence. And I about, well, I don't, that's unprofessional to say, but I about lost my mind when I read some of those things, because I'm like, do you not really, have you ever applied for a loan before? What are they going to ask you for? Your bank credentials or your transaction history, because they have to verify your income. The only issue is they haven't developed, and maybe they don't want to. Maybe some of these people don't want to develop a human relationship. But from my experience, I haven't had any people obtain funding from me, but I've had about 100 giggle applications from ads. That's a little ask. It's a small ask to ask a gig funder worker, or a gig worker to apply for a loan. It's a little ask. But I've run those same type of ads on our big business funding, and I haven't had one conversion. The reason being is business owners are smart, and they want to talk to a human. If I was to develop a human connection with a business owner first and get them to apply, they know my integrity. They know who I am as a person, and they're going to build that trust relationship. So I do believe, and out of all those gig funding applications, the majority of them probably lied on that application, so was denied funding. Because we get to see in the back end, of course, a lot of them submitted multiple applications because obviously they were declined the first time. But I think it might be imperative to know going in, you have to be comfortable developing these face-to-face relationships. And I can't wait to come to your Zoom call next Monday and say, hey, I've got these funded clients because I went out in the streets and I connected with these people. And I think that everybody should know it might take a little more than just sending out an email. It's a great conversation starter, but then follow up on the phone or go visit their business. If you can get say, hey, an email, I would like to set up an appointment with you face to face. There should be nothing holding people back from wanting to develop those relationships. All of my clients as a business consultant I've obtained haven't came from online ads. They haven't came from cold calling or cold emailing. Some of them, yeah, it started from a phone call, but then it immediately moved to, hey, can I come to your place of business and bring my laptop, I'll show you some stuff. Or it came from word of mouth. And that's a big ask. Being a business consultant and taking charge of another person's business marketing efforts, that's a really big ask. They trust you a lot to do that. That kind of trust doesn't get built online. It gets built by letting them know you are a person and you are there to help them. But I felt like that's kind of important, especially for the climate, for the Facebook group, and some of the messages I've gotten and stuff. But there's nothing to be afraid of with talking to business owners. They're people just like you and I are. The difference is they have more problems and more stress than you do. So chances are, if you roll up into a business and you're like, hey, I know you're stressed, I have some free solutions for you. And by the way, we have some other solutions for you to get you funding. If you ever need it, call me. Also, don't be pushy. There's another thing some of my agents have called me about, and they're cold calling these people just wanting to get them with funding. And that's why I mentioned this week to David. I said, this Relevate play is huge because it's free. It's a giveaway. I call that in sales, getting in the door. We're here to give you something because it creates reciprocity, for the business owner. They're like, oh, they're building that trust by giving me something with no strings attached. It's solely a benefit to them and gives them that competitive advantage. Lead with something that's free to the business owner, and on the back end say, we can also get you funding if your bank can't. A lot of my agents, I assume, are calling these businesses and getting frustrated because they're like, hey, I can get you business funding. Okay, well, I don't need it now. Oh, but we can get it to you right now. And then not even, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I wouldn't do that personally. I would ask a question, hey, have you heard about the ERC? Now, my whole direction is going to be based on Relevate. Hey, do you have a solution for your business? Your employees, because a lot of them are having to go get payday loans and pay that 25 to 50% interest. But I don't want to ramble on. Just think about it as if someone was calling you. How would you want someone to call you? You know what I mean? These business owners might be in the middle of a rush. They might be trying to have Sunday dinner with their family. They don't want you beating them down, they don't mind to listen if you're there to help them. But, you know, in my business consulting business, I've never approached a business owner with, hey, let me sell you my services. It's always, you know, I ask interrogative questions, you know, how can I help you? I'm in business consulting. A lot of businesses don't know, you know, some of the things they need to do. I give them a free marketing plan, and I give them a free consultation and a free Zoom call. And because of that three-way package, it gets me in the door with them. And they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows he can help me. What would it hurt to give him a shot? And that's the thing. If I was going into these businesses being like, hey, buy my stuff, they're not going to buy my, get out of my store. I'm busy. I've got enough problems. So that's all I have to say. I don't want to take up all your
Oh
time.
yeah, no, great comments, Joshua, and you're spot on. You know, it all comes from a conversation. That's why the connect cards that we have a phone number, right? And the phone number to record the conversation so that you can go back and listen to yourself and listen how you handled that. I personally get dozens of calls, inbound calls a week, and it comes from the things that I've posted, or people are finding me online, right? They're calling because you're right. They want to connect with someone, and they're more likely to do an application and get funded through me than that person that's not going to answer their phone. In fact, I learned this a long time ago. You guys have probably heard me say that I'm involved with Legal Shield. I've been a Legal Shield associate since 2010. So 12 years, right? I don't build that business anymore. I did it for the first 2.5 years or so. And just so you know, executive director is like their top level, that their first leadership level. I made it to executive director in 28 days with Legal Shield, because I got in and I went to work and I had a goal set in mind. So I say that because I was one of the few people that probably had ever done that. And I know here in the Atlanta market, they would put me on stage all the time and brag about my story of success, right? But I don't build that team anymore. I sell the program all the time because I believe in the service. But my point with that is I built a Google My Business Places page back. That's what it used to be. In 2010 with them. And I became the top spot for Legal Shield. If you Google Legal Shield Atlanta now, you're probably going to see my listing in the map section there, right? But I would see that my phone would ring and it would be an unknown call because it wasn't one of my contacts, or wasn't somebody that I knew. If I missed that call, 30 minutes later, I might call back and I'd say, hey, this is Ellen Winn. I had a missed call from you. And they're going, yeah, I was calling about Legal Shield, but I've already talked to someone. So hearing that over and over and over again is my personal testament to every one of you, that if your information is out there and people are looking for what you have, if you're not willing to talk to them and they're trying to make a phone call, if you don't answer the phone and if you don't talk to them, they're going to look for the next person that is willing to talk to them, because they're needing somebody to answer questions and not just go through a website. So you're spot on with that, Joshua. I appreciate your comments and love your enthusiasm on that. All right, let's go over to Lisa Garcia. I'm going to ask you to unmute, Lisa. How are you doing tonight?
Good, yourself?
Good, good. Thank you.
It has been very busy this weekend, I will say.
Awesome.
But I have a few questions regarding, and there's going to be a double prongs here on the relevant issue. I've already got my brochures printed out and I've handed out some already. My big question is, like, I've handed out to a major grocery store, which is big in Texas and in Mexico. And on that issue, they took the brochure, there's from the corporate office. And like I told them, if they have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But if they go into the website and they go through my David Allen Capital, and then they go look up Relevate, I guess my question is, can they go through Relevate and try to sign up without trying to find the research before they sign up, or how would that work?
Yeah, I mean, they could go directly to Relevate. They can totally bypass you. And that's where it goes back to what Joshua was saying about creating a relationship and you being that go-to person. So when you handed this information off, did you hand it off to the person that is kind of in that decision-making process and getting it into a management person's hands, or did
Yes,
you did? Okay.
yes.
So
One of the head people.
yeah, anytime you do something like that, you want to say, hey, I'm an agency owner and we've just brought on a new brand partnership. The company's not new, but we're one of their new brand partners and my information is here. And make sure that they know that you're a business owner too, right?
Mhm.
And that you need to get credit for connecting them to Relevate. Plus, the process that we have for them to go through Relevate is different than if they just went to the Relevate site, because Relevate just says contact us here, right? But
Yes.
ours gives them an opportunity to go ahead and set up what is it about their business, how many employees do they have, what type of industry are they, click here, submit this, and on the next page, they're setting their Calendly appointment. So while they're filling that out,
Yes.
they're going in and seeing when the time available that works for Relevate, that they're available and works with them and their staff to be able to go ahead and schedule that meeting.
Well,
And you
that's
can
what
actually do that with them. You know that, right?
well, yes and no. It's kind of hard because I'm going to be the first to tell you, you know what I do? I drive and I pick up a lot of people that have the influence with the company.
Mhm.
And in this case, I referred him to the barcode, which I generated through the app when I did the brochure. So
The QR code.
the
Okay.
QR code, yes, I referred him to the QR code to click in there so that and that if he had any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Of course, it has my phone number. So I let that happen. And this just happened yesterday, but we're talking roughly about 80,000 employees. Now, one of the big questions I have about that company is if they do go that route, will they, if they're headquartered here in San Antonio, would they be able to use this same Relevate card for the employees they have in Mexico?
No, it'd be for their US based employees only.
Okay.
But that's a big start, right? Because they've got to be able to have a US bank account. It is a US based bank account.
Yeah, and the company has one. The company has a US because they have their own bank as well,
Right.
just so you know.
Right.
And
But-
those were some of the things we were talking about.
Yeah. But the employees will have to be eligible for a US bank account. Means they got to have a social security number or US tax ID.
Yes.
It wouldn't work if they've got employees that live in Mexico and don't have US credentials.
Okay, so that helps.
It doesn't have to be 100% of the employees either. They can offer
No.
that to their US employees. Yeah.
And I have several companies like that have a lot of employees like that. So that's what I'm gonna focus on here. But at the same time, the other prong I have, where y'all talked about government contracts for this, I have a meeting scheduled probably for tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. The convention is starting here in San Antonio on Thursday, and it's probably about 5,000 different school districts across the US. So my point to that is I'm talking to a company that has at least 400 accounts with school districts. So I want to offer it as a benefit that they can do it as part of their enrollment. And my big question is, if they want to sign up with David Allen Capital and do it their own account, would I still make something under that?
You will, yeah. And that's what I was going to recommend. You're apparently talking about a broker that is tied into those school systems. That's a great lead in, guys. If y'all know brokers, I just got connected with a friend of mine that's been an insurance broker for years, and he's connecting me with an insurance broker in Florida that is huge, right? That broker can lead to lots of accounts. So yes, they could come in, they could be a DAC agent and be the actual referrer and getting the bulk of the upfront money, but you would earn residually on that. What those numbers look like right now, Lisa, I don't know. We're waiting for David to release the compensation plan, but everything that we do, everything, there's not a single product that we market that only pays the customer getter, right?
Okay.
It pays you as the referring partner, and it also pays your organization. Therefore, the big income opportunity by leveraging and a lot of people coming together and everybody getting a little bit, getting a few clients, they make good money, and it overall it pays an organization leader a lot of money when you've got tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of agents that are bringing a few clients on each. Or in your case, if you brought on that broker that has connections with, sounds like hundreds of thousands of potential Relevate users through that association, then they would make a fortune, and you will be able to make a fortune in overrides, even at just a small percentage of what they're making because of the sheer volume of it.
So if they want to talk to somebody, say would it be with Relevate, or would it be like setting up something with David?
No, it would be setting it up with Relevant. Well, it depends. There's two questions there. If they want to come on as an agent, then I'm happy to talk to them, or we can connect them with David Rutz, either one. If they want to talk about the agency program and getting started with us as a referral partner. But if it's about the product itself and how that works, then we need to connect them with Relevate.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be in town, I know, probably by Wednesday, and I'll talk to them maybe tomorrow night as well to see which way they want to go with what I've already emailed them the brochure. So it's just a matter of setting up the meeting before the convention starts. And then we'll
I'm happy to help you in that, to navigate what route we need to go, whether we need to get David involved in a call or not. I'm happy to do that.
Okay, sounds good. That's
So
what
just
my
let me
main
know.
thing. And then when everything else falls into place, we'll see. Because I'm gonna hit, like I said, I'm running into people, and I'm like, okay, let's see what we can set up.
So let me ask you, does anybody, I know you're driving and you're doing your side gig hustle. How do you position yourself when you're talking to an executive or a decision maker like this, when you're the driver? How do you position yourself there?
When I'm driving, I always ask them, I start out the conversation asking if they're from here, if they've always been in San Antonio, because San Antonio is a booming city right now. And that's where I'm at. And some of them were telling me, no, like the one that works for the grocery store, he's been up north and Houston, and then he transferred here where the headquarters is at. And we talked all about that. It was like a 40-minute drive. So we got a lot in, and I handed him the brochure because I had already handed him printed. So that was how we kind of caught into the conversation.
Yeah.
I also see it just depends if they're visiting or if they're actually living here. So that's kind of how I start and break the ice.
Okay, so, but how do you position yourself that, okay, I'm driving Uber or DoorDash, and not saying you are, I'm driving Uber or DoorDash or Lyft or some of these gig economy workers. How do you position yourself to be offering a professional service when you're doing DoorDash or Uber or Lyft?
Well, I also tell them my history, because I've also, prior to doing driving, I am a licensed insurance agent. I'm in the finance industry. Prior to that, I was working in the nursing homes for over 20 years on the finance side. So I know the ins and outs of processing claims. So I position myself in that way, and then let him know that I'm break the ice. I let him know why I'm getting out of Uber, because it's totally unsafe here. And I only pick up at the airport.
Yeah,
because
and this is my in between while I'm building my
while I'm
agency with David
transitioning.
Allen Capital. I'm doing this part time. It's a great way for me to meet people and surplus my income, supplement my income.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I explained to them, because if you only knew half of the things that I've been through driving with rideshare, this is why I want to get.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so
we've got more questions here, Lisa, but I wanted you to go down that path because I know you and I have talked, but we've got a lot of people on here that are doing side gigs, right? I've done the Uber thing. I got started with my limousine business because I was driving Uber. I know Harlequin was doing some Uber stuff and made some great connections through Uber. But I wanted you to tell your story and how you're doing that, because the way you position yourself, if you're doing those side hustles, is key to whether somebody's going to listen to you or not. So that's what I was wanting you to get to. And I knew you were doing that anyway, but I wanted you to share that with everybody. So thank you.
Yes.
Excellent job. And I look forward to seeing what you got going, but let me know if I need to help you with any of those calls. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. All right, Ray, I see you've got your hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, Ellen. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you.
Of course, I got a question, but it's more so I was listening to, it was either the Friday call. I wasn't able to get on in the morning because I work in the mornings when Dave do the calls. He mentioned to someone, I think someone asked a question about the cannabis, and I thought for some reason cannabis was one of the things that we were not going to be doing. Maybe I missed something on one of the calls, but I heard him say something about cannabis. If you can elaborate a little bit more about that.
So we can fund cannabis. Okay, we can fund. Where the restriction lies is on the Visa MasterCard side. So we do have a payment processor that will do payment processing for the cannabis industry. But because of the federal laws, Visa and MasterCard in the United States will not do any cannabis for payment processing, but we can do funding. Yeah. So that's
okay. So
probably what you heard.
Oh, so he'd been doing cannabis for a while. I thought for some reason he said he wasn't going to do cannabis.
Who, David?
Yeah.
No, we've been doing funding. Am I missing something there, Harlequin?
No, I'm talking about the cannabis part. I thought for some reason one time I heard him say that he didn't do cannabis. So I was just really trying to understand.
We've always been able to do cannabis in our funding space. Some lenders love it, some don't, and it was dependent on the states and so on. But some of those regulations have changed. But yeah, we can fund. We can fund.
Okay.
It's the
so if somebody
payment processing.
Okay. So if somebody wanted funding for cannabis, they would go through the funding process, and then from there, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to
go apply like anybody else. That we're going to look at their revenue, and if they meet qualifications based on revenue, credit score, time in business, then they have the potential to get funded.
Okay, my second question would be my last question. Now in reference to Relevate, can this also be applied to like employment staffing agency companies?
Anybody that has employees, anybody that has employees can come on with Relevate. David said today that there's no restrictions on any size organization that can start using Relevate and offer it as a benefit to their employees. The big benefit is pay any day, but he did say today we made some adjustments. It initially was 100 employees or more that would be eligible for pay any day, but he even said that pay any day Relevate team will go as low as 25 employee groups if they make it mandatory that 100% of them sign up. And of course, they're going to look at that company. They're going to scrutinize the company and how long they've been in business, how stable they are as an employer to be able to do a group as small as 25. But between 25 and 100, if they come on with 100% mandatory sign up with all their employees getting a Relevate account, they can potentially get the pay any day. Under 25, they're not going to get pay any day, but they can sign up for Relevate.
Okay, so also now that we're also doing Canada would not be part of the Relevate either.
No, it's US for Relevate only.
Okay.
Canada is funding, sign up agents, and payment processing.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah, good questions. Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
Ellen, I'm going to add something. David had posted on Facebook that Relevate is also open to Puerto Rico.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was thank you. That was a question that came up, and that was one of his. I don't know. I'll find out. So thank you. That's great. Good to know. Okay,
Thanks.
I have Jagadisan. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Did I say your name right?
Yeah. You can call me Jags, Ellen. I'll change my name. So everybody, can you all hear me?
We can, yeah. What question do
Oh,
you
okay,
have
perfect.
tonight?
Okay, thank you. I've just joined. It's been like 3 days, I think, and I'm been thankful to Herlikin for helping me with many of the customers that I've been working with. I mainly work with the asset-based funding. Most
Okay.
of my contacts are mainly multifamily and land builders. Mostly they are builders and business owners. Okay.
Awesome. Well,
Now I'm
welcome to
new.
DAC. We're excited to have you on our team.
Oh, thank you, Ellen. And I think my question is probably for the folks who have been through this all these years. I'm little concerned about sending the brochures to anybody. The reason being, I don't want them to just look at the brochure directly, go to the DAC website and become a partner themselves. So how are you handling this kind of situation, right?
So what I'm doing is I have the brochure, and the one that we have in the back office, the only one I found was a JPEG, right? I edited it. I edited the JPEG through the Canva, and then I saved it as a PDF document. Because if you go in, I converted it through a PDF converter where I could put 2 pages in. So I put 2 pages in and I made it into a PDF document. Okay. So now when I'm talking to someone and sending it to them, I'm sending that 2-page PDF as an attachment to my email. But in the body of the email is a little paragraph of, for more information on our Pay Any Day and Relevate and the benefits available for your company, or to get a conversation started with our Relevate team, please visit our website. Or I'll start out with, I've attached a brochure with the benefits. Go here. So I've got the website link in. Most people are going to click on the website and do the brochure. The brochure is something that they can pass around the office. But I make it clear to them, just like I was talking with Lisa earlier, is that I make it clear that I'm an independent agency owner and this is how you contact me. This is my business, and I'm the referral partner here. So make sure you get back with me on this. And you know, there's no difference if they go through us or go directly to Relevate as far as what they're going to get, and they need to know that. Just say we're a licensed partner with Relevate. So I think they'll go through you if you create that connection with them. Okay,
understood. Thank you. And my second question is, when I reach out to a few of my contacts for the ERC, the Employee Retention Credit, we seem to be charging 20%. I think the attorneys charge 20% for the service. There are all these businesses already have a CPA for taking care of their yearly tax filing and stuff. So they are also authorized to do this ERC, I believe, right? So how are we winning them? Because the tax consultants don't charge 20%, but we charge 20% of the total credit. So how are we winning those businesses?
Right. So if they have somebody that's going to do the ERC for them and charge them less, then they should go that route. But the truth is, most CPAs and accounting firms are not dealing with the ERC. If they have a large clientele of tax clients, they're not dealing with it because it's a 400-page tax document and it's been an ever-changing ruling on it. So they couldn't keep up with it, and they would do the high level of, yeah, I don't think you qualify because you didn't lose money. A lot of business owners have been told that they didn't qualify when in fact they actually did, because they were either misinformed or their CPA didn't take time to really review it, and or CPA wasn't doing it. So one of the things that we encourage you to do is, if you're talking to someone or if you run across a CPA, I would recruit the CPA as an agent. I would directly recruit the CPA, because they can then take all of their clients, they can submit them. ERC pros, our team that does the ERCs, will actually create a portal for that CPA to be able to submit all of their clients through a single portal where the CPA has access to all of it, so that they're not having to create separate accounts for each of their clients. They will do that to benefit the CPA team. So then you can tell them, hey, if you're not doing these, the question to ask the CPA is, how are you handling, or how are you helping your clients with the employee retention tax credit? Ask that question as a door opener to see, are they doing it or not? If they're not doing it, then say, well, our company has a turnkey solution to really finding exactly how much is the business owner is eligible for. We have a lot of CPAs that have come on board with us. It's a turnkey solution for you. You don't have to do any of the work other than getting the documents together that your clients would need to submit anyway. Our CPAs take on all the work. They do all the scouring over the documents and come back with what the client is eligible for, and then you can get paid in return. So turnkey to you, doesn't cost you anything to be affiliated. You submit everything and then you get paid off of submitting all of your clients. If you're open to doing that and really helping your clients get back every dollar that they can without interrupting your regular workflow with your CPA firm, we'd love to have you take a look at that. And a lot of CPAs have come on. In fact, David has said that our biggest ERC producers out in our agent force are the CPAs that have come on board, and they're doing exactly what I just described. I know I personally recruited my CPA, and she has done that. She has submitted every one of her clients herself. Not only has she submitted them for the ERC, she has also helped some of them get fundings. So now that she sees the whole suite of services and she's got some applications in, working on payment processing and saving them money there. So bringing them on where they really see the big financial picture that David Allen Capital offers can be a huge win-win for them. As an enroller, you're going to get overrides on that. You're matching enroller bonuses on revenue. Back to Lisa's question earlier, Lisa, I don't know because the comp plan hasn't been rolled out yet, but if that broker wants to come on board, there's probably a big piece of that equation that you'll be eligible to earn on too, because you introduce them to the company. So just think about those enroller bonuses are massive in this. Did I answer that entire question, or did I go off and miss part of it?
No, Ellen, I think thanks for clarifying it. Right? That helps. And I think another piece that every customer asks is, give us some background about how are you getting the funding for us, right?
Now, repeat that.
Many of the business owners are asking, what is the average interest rate I get, and how are you getting this fund?
Okay, so we don't talk interest rates. We talk about payback terms, right? We really use a multiplier on however much they borrow. They're going to pay back anywhere between 1.19 to 1.69, depending on every dollar that they borrow. So 16 cents to, 19 cents to 69 cents per dollar as that multiplier, right? Borrow 10,000, they pay back 1.19 to 1.69. And that is a variable equation for every single business. How we do our funding and how that works, we are one of the largest funding platforms in North America, and we're partnered with over 50 lenders. We're partnered with all of the top lenders in the alternative capital space. So when a business owner comes through us and makes an application, if they're doing over $20,000 a month, well, if they're doing over $15,000 a month, we're going to take their application, their file, and we're going to shop it out to all of the top lenders with only one pull of their credit score. We're going to do a soft pull on their FICO. We're going to shop it out, and we're going to bring back the absolute best offer. If that client is doing 20,000 or more over the past 3 months and they've been in business for a year and have at least a 500 credit score, we're going to guarantee them that we will give them the best offer in the market available, or we'll give them a $500 gift card. So that states how confident we are in our network of lenders and how hard our lenders are going to go to work to get the client's business. And you can believe me, and Harlequin can attest to this as well. We've heard some horror stories from some of the people that have come to us for lending solutions, and they've shared stories of what happened with another lender. Or in my case, I had a client that got funding through DAC. He got his money and didn't keep it long. He had another lender that started calling him, telling him he had a better offer. So he took the money from another lender, paid off what he borrowed from DAC, and then he ran into some hard times with this other lender and wasn't able to make a couple of payments with them. And they started cleaning out his bank account, right? Because they are unscrupulous. There are a lot of unscrupulous lenders out there in this space. There are a lot of really good ones, but there are some really unscrupulous lenders. DAC works with all of the good ones, all of the reputable ones. So when you bring a client through our platform, rest assured they're going to be in good hands. They're working with people that are ethical, honest, and we're never going to put a business owner in a worse situation than they're in. In fact, we've had our in-house lending team has talked to business owner before and said, you know, we can loan you this money. We got this approval, but I just don't feel good about lending it to you because you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to be able to pay it back, or it's going to put you in a worse situation based on what they're doing with it. So we're really working in their best favor all the time.
Okay, and do we support points in the sense like can they buy points to reduce the interest rates?
No, no, not like on a mortgage where you pay points at closing. There are points that they will pay. There's closing fees almost on every funding that we do. But no, unless what will happen is if they've borrowed money from us and come back for repeat funding, what we call a renewal, after they've established themselves as a good client, or if it's a huge funding, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, there might be some wiggle room in there and some negotiation. In fact, our team will tell you that sometimes they have had to bring the payout to the agent down a little bit just to be able to get the deal from the client, because we had to lower our fees to be able to keep them in-house with us. They'll always let you know that, or, you know, they'll say, hey, this was a reduced rate funding, but we're going to do everything in our power to get that client. So if it is a negotiation to make sure that we get the deal, we'll do everything in the power.
No, understood. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you for your questions. And Harlequin was telling me earlier today what good work you guys are doing out there. So look forward to seeing what you guys can produce, or what's going to come out of all the efforts that you're putting in. So good job. And you've got a great leader there in Harlequin. I know you know that. You opened up saying that, but you've got a great support team member there helping you with all that you're doing. All right. Thank you. All right, Bruce, I'm going to ask you to unmute. What questions do you have tonight, Bruce? There you are.
Hey, how you doing, Ellen?
I'm good.
Hey,
how are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. Thank you. First off, I'd like to say happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, tomorrow. Thank you. Same
so-
to you.
Don't forget to put the mistletoe at the top of the door, okay? With a heart in the middle of the door, and then welcome anybody in, okay?
You got it.
You know, being in the insurance industry, the financial industry for multiple years, and working with many agents throughout the whole US, it's like, you know, I was talking to David this morning and said, geez, you know, these guys are trying to pull tricks on me, and the tricks don't work. And then they turn around and they call me and they tell me, oh, Bruce, okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, right. Well, get on the right company and work with David Allen Capital, and we'll be okay. All right. I've done Uber, I've done Lyft. I had 878 pickups in both companies, but both companies shut off my app because I was showing my portfolio to every person that would manipulate who the heck I was. And I'm like, well, hey, wait a minute. Take a look at my credentials, please, before you manipulate or before you put me down any longer. You know, take a look at where I've been. You know, I do have a little education. I love picking people up and helping people. And that's really why I'm doing this job. Thank you very much for bringing it to my attention that cannabis was available to do loans, because they're all over the place in LA. That's a gold mine right there. All right, let's open up a few more stores for you guys. right? We can do that now. I didn't know we could do that. How cool. And then on top of everything else, you've got also brought it to my attention that gosh, so many things are so good. I'm like, I can't it's like my mind will not slow down of what I'm doing. I apologize for being late on your webinar tonight. I was 45 minutes late getting in because I was doing my own Zoom call, and I'm recruiting throughout the US, and I got thousands of people on the call, and they're all like, Bruce, where are you? Hey, okay. I'm sorry. I'll make sure I'm there next time. So I've got a lot of mentors like you, and thank you very much for telling me who mentored you, because guess what? It's a small world. Guess what? Yeah. Good old Eric. He's been around a long time, and so is Cardone, right? So that's who we follow. We follow the millionaires. We follow the logic of how to behave and get the right type of attitude, and put your heart and soul into what others have already accomplished. All right, you don't want to be hanging around with the wrong crowd, because why? It's all about the crowd and the team that you're building. Are you building a team that is going to be weak? Are you building a team that has other things to do when they're not really doing anything at all? Some of these guys are collecting government benefits, and they do things like really not moral, not ethical, right? And they'll call me up and they'll say, I've got another lending company. And I'm like, cut it out, will you please? Right? Because really, you got to plug in. And while I'm in the meetings with you and David, I'm getting text messages on my phone right in the middle of the Zoom calls. And I'm like, hey guys, why are you not on the call? Well, I got out of it in the middle of it. Wait a minute. You're supposed to be in the meeting the whole entire time. You're going to hear people with questions. Everyone has a different view and different question. And those questions are very important, because some things you'll never actually even think about. You'll find out if you'll listen to the whole entire webinar and you listen to everybody's issue of what they're going through.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
More. God bless you.
Did you have a question? I've got somebody else with a hand up. Did you have a question, or are you just giving us your wisdom tonight?
There and say hello and give you a kiss on the cheek, and thank you very much. And you and Hart are gonna just keep doing that great job you're doing.
Excellent.
Thanks so.
Thank you, Bruce, and happy Valentine's Day. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, you bet. And I've got Cherry. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hey, Cherry, how are you tonight?
Hi, Ellen. Good evening. Hi, everyone. Yes, I have one question regarding the Connect cards. Do we have to order it with that special number that they're going to give us, or can we just do it without?
Yeah, so when you order cards, they're automatically going to give you that special number. Okay.
Okay.
One thing that you could do is put 2 phone numbers on there, and one of them will have a direct, but I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, I have the direct cards, the Connect cards, and it goes into that. The goal is you get the cards, you get them out in the next 2 or 3 months, right? And most people are going to call during that initial process. I know Harlequin has had somebody call back a year later or a year and a half later or whatever, but if your information is on there and your email address is on there, and that QR code, which is your domain name, right? That domain going over to your website is going to be key. Most people are going to go to a website. When they get to the website, they're going to see what your phone number is on the website, because that's prominently displayed. So
if you do not order within that period, the 2-3 months or whatever, would you lose that number?
It's not 2 or 3 months. You're initially given for 6 months, depending on the size of the order. So when you do the orders, look at the time frame on that. And if you either order more cards and keep that number, or you can extend the amount of time that number is live. The bottom line is it costs the company money to pay for that line and pay for that account, and that's built in to the
Right.
price of the Connect
Yeah.
cards.
Right, and that's why I was wondering, do we
Yeah.
have to have that number, or if we can just do our own, they would do it,
Yeah, I mean,
print
you
it
can
without
put
the
two
number.
phone if you don't think you'll get those cards out in 2 or 3 months,
Mhm.
and you're worried about missing somebody that may call you back a year and a half later, I
Right.
look at it like this. The likelihood that I'm going to have several people respond with me getting them out in a short period of time, several people on that initial rollout, and responding within 6 months. I look at the numbers that will potentially come in on that as being far greater than the potential of people that might call 6 or 12 or 18 months later, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
that's just, I just look at the law of averages on it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks for the question.
Sure, thanks.
All right, and I have Ann. Hey, Ann, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Good. Payment processing is in Canada?
It is.
I wasn't told. I didn't know.
And you can do payment processing in Canada, isn't that
Thank you,
awesome?
Ellen. I'm glad to know that. May I use the Connect cards for payment processing as they stand now, or is something different in?
We don't have the new Connect cards for payment processing yet, do we? I haven't seen those.
No. Well, I
don't think
need.
the new ones are live yet.
Okay, well, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. And thanks for asking that question. So payment processing, funding, and signing up agents in Canada. Yes.
And
Website.
equipment?
And what?
Buying equipment?
No, it's going to be some of our alternative funding. They might do equipment financing, but it's only the 20K and up on the Bank Breezy, not 20K, 15K and up for the bigger funding that's available in Canada. You could certainly have them apply on the equipment financing, but I think that was one that was eliminated.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Harlequin, do you have notes on that?
So, sorry, I was trying to type something for somebody. What was the question again?
Equipment financing, is that available in Canada or just the alternative funding?
No, there's only a specific, there's a special program for business funding in Canada. There is a separate sheet on the quick reference sheets that applies that, and that's the only funding that you can get in Canada.
Has that sheet been updated? Because it had.
Yes, it has.
Last October date on it, the one I.
No, ma'am, it was updated.
Okay.
It was updated last month.
Okay, all right.
So what you're seeing, Ann, on the dates, and this is an internal thing, I wish they would change.
They deleted that, Ellen.
What?
They deleted the dates on the bottom of each individual page.
It was on the top right-hand corner, yeah.
Yeah, so what's up there now is current with everything. It's
Well,
it's
are they
towards the
going-
bottom of the regular bit funding quick reference sheet.
Will they tell us if there are changes? Yeah, because I didn't know about the payment processing in Canada. I thought it was business equipment funding and asset-backed funding.
Now, they announced the Canadian payment processing back in December.
And she
Oh,
wasn't here in
I wasn't a
December.
member then.
Yeah,
Okay.
she wasn't here.
I was with Longevity, yeah. Okay, good stuff. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the reference guide now. Yeah, they did move those dates because initially when we launched some of those new programs, they had the old dates at the top on the ones, and internally they were dating them by when that had been updated, right? So it was throwing people off. They were missing the new updates. But yeah, on page 9 of the quick reference funding, there's the Canada funding reference sheet.
Page 9.
Over 10,000 a month with a business bank account. Minimum of 5 revenue deposits per month, 6 months in business, 10,000 plus in monthly sales. Owner has a 550 credit score and a minimum of 2 employees. They can do current loan consideration. So it could be a second position on there.
That's good to know.
Actually, it says 2nd through 5th positions may be available in Canada, but it's on that reference sheet for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question and good stuff. All right. I have Michael with a hand up. Hey, Michael, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Miss Ellen. I know it's been a while since you and I spoke, since we both are fellow Georgians and everything. Due to personal and medical issues, I had to step away from the business for a while. And I'm just now coming back on and finding out a whole bunch of stuff has changed. So
yeah, well, welcome back. Glad that you're able to be back.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to be really brief and really straight to the point. I need to get back acclimated to what's going on and get my business back relaunched. My question to you is, would I do that through you, or how can I get relaunched and get reacclimated to what's going on with David Alec Capital?
Okay, so you still have an active ID number, right? You still have your website.
I believe I do.
Okay, what I would recommend is that you go to the join as an agent, become an agent link at the bottom of the David Allen Capital website, which is the partner page that you would send to someone to recruit. I would recommend that you start out by going through that updated business presentation. David recorded that last Tuesday, and it covers all the services that we're marketing right now. So you get that big picture view of what we're doing now, right? And then after you go through that, go back to the Getting Started page on our Agent Resource Center. The Getting Started is the updated funding training. It has the ERC training in it, and it has compensation. We're going to get updated compensation training here in the next day or two. I'm assuming David's going to be, hey, buddy, how are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm also on daddy duty too.
I see that. What a cutie.
This is MJ. This is MJ.
Hey, MJ, how are you tonight? You know, you got a lot of people looking at you right now and how cute you are.
Thanks. I'm sorry, but he's all over the place. I'm trying to.
He's precious. Yeah, but yeah, go watch the Getting Started section, and then the specific training when you land on the homepage. When you first go to the Agent Resource Center, it says New Services Launch. That covers the Canadian funding, the asset-backed funding, and the equipment financing. And then we've got our Relevate launch, which I'm going to ask them to move it because I don't see it in a prominent position, but we're going to get that put into the I'm sorry, my phone rang and I'm going, we'll get that put into the Getting Started section of the Agent Resource Center. So those are the things you need to do. Just act as if you just now got started with DAC and start over.
Okay. Okay, and I believe I still have your number from last time. So if I have any questions.
Are you getting my emails?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, my information is in the signature of my email.
Okay, then. Thank you very much.
You bet. Welcome back, Michael. Thanks for the question. All right, I'm going to ask Tim to unmute.
Good
hey, Tim,
evening.
how are you tonight?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, my question is on the pricing of our products. For the gig financing and the line of credit, is the average cost of funding 1.99, like you said it's like 99 cents to $1. Is it on a fixed rate, or per the tenor of the transaction? For instance, if I get a customer who wants $5,000 for gig funds, how is the pricing going to be done? Is it going to be the 5,000 times 1.99? Is that how it's done?
That's how the pricing works. Okay. That's that multiplier, but there's the cost of the closing of the loan and all that, but it is disclosed 100% to the client. So when they get approved, they're going to be told how much they're qualified for and what the terms are, the payback terms, how many payments they'll make, what the frequency of the payments are, etc. If it's a giggle funding, it's a weekly payment. Everybody else is either daily or weekly. But back to this reference sheet that we were talking about with Anne, the quick funding reference sheet in the Agent Resource Center. If you go to that, when someone applies for funding, you've got your 3 different buckets here, the Giggle, Biddy, and Bank Breezy, the 3 different funding buckets, right? And the email that you receive also explains this information. So when somebody starts the application, you'll get notification. Congratulations, someone started the app, a Bank Breezy application. Open that up and it tells you about the client. Read line by line because it tells you what they stated as their revenue and which lender we sent them to based on their answers. And then when you know which lender they went to, you can refer back to the quick reference guide here and look at the one. This is the bigger funding.
Okay.
Scroll on down. Bigger funding, then you've got the Biddy Advance funding, how that process works, and Giggle. But each of these on this quick reference guide, not only does it show the funding amount and terms, it shows the minimum requirements, but also for you as an agent, it shows what the process is. So it shows you the steps that the client goes through. And if you see this little blue envelope there, that means that you're getting an email updating you on the status of that client. On Giggle, they're pink envelopes because that's their color scheme, right? But it tells you everything that you need to know about them, and they're all covered in the funding training there on your website. So where did I find that? I'll go back, Agent Resource Center, under business funding, straight down middle of the page, funding reference sheet. There's also one under the getting started. When you go there, you've got your business capital video, funding reference, the ERC quick reference, and so on. So
I see Canada funding, yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Thank
awesome.
you so much. Thank you.
You bet. All right, we'll come off of that and go back. Does that answer your question, Tim?
Yes, it does.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for asking. All right, I've got
Thank
Bobby Knight's hand up. Hey, Bobby, how are you doing tonight?
Here's a question for you, Ellen. I don't know if you had this question before. If you're since we did separate from our former company and now we're on the DAC side, I want to ask you a question. If your sponsor is now corporate, which I'm sure a lot of us have went to corporate, is it okay if corporate, let's say if I want to be on your team, even if I'm sponsored by corporate, does corporate have that power to do that with David Allen himself being so busy?
Well, you're welcome to send an email into support expressing your concerns and wishes, okay? It may be that you have an upline leader with longevity that didn't opt in and didn't come over. So just send in your question there, Bobby, and they'll get back with you on what your options are, if you have any.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the question. And hey, you're already on our team. You're joining us on our Zooms, and you're always welcome. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
All right, and now I have Herbert. Hey, Herbert, how are you doing tonight? Let me ask you to unmute. Can you unmute? Herbert, I'm trying to get you unmuted there.
There we go. Here you go. Yes, I just signed up a couple of days ago.
Welcome.
Thank you. And I like what I see. And however, I haven't received the email from you yet. So I'm just wondering, do you have my information?
Well, did you get your welcome letter from David Allen Capital?
Not yet.
Then there's a problem in the email. I would venture to say that you may have had a typo in the email address that you used when you signed up. Okay, so do this for me. I want you to email me at workwithellen@gmail.com.
Okay.
And tell me the name that you used when you signed up, your phone number, the email address that you used, and your address. And we'll get to the bottom of that and make sure you get a welcome letter.
Okay.
All right, your name, email address, phone number that you used when you signed up, and the address that they would have on file. Because it's likely that we have another Herbert Matthews in the system somewhere, and that way we'll make sure we've got the right person.
Yeah, I'll just, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And have you checked your spam folder and make sure that it didn't go into promotions or any of that in your email? Because sometimes that'll happen.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, if you've looked over all of those, then that's most likely what has happened. It was
Okay.
just a typo.
All right. Oh, I have one other question.
Okay.
So when you get a domain name for your website, is it always good to have, like I thought of one, but then after I thought about it, I was like, I should put DCA in there instead of like just not have, just H Matthews, contact H Matthews. I thought maybe DCA probably should be a part. After I read some of the information in the website, I did see some of the information in the website, so I decided I want to put DCA in there because that's who I would be.
DAC, right?
DAC, yeah.
Yeah, you can use DAC. You just can't use David Allen Capital all spelled out.
Right. Is that important or not? It doesn't matter.
It really depends on what your message is. I have some domain names that have DAC in them, but then I have some domains that I bought that are product specific. Like I bought getmyrefund.info, and that goes straight over to the employee retention credit page. And I don't need it to say anything about DAC. I need it to be a short message that I can send a client to. With Relevate, I bought freeaccount.info, and that's the message that I want to send as I'm talking to business owners about that. So yeah, it's up to you, and there's a variety of options for you. So just think about it. I also would recommend that you think about the different services that we market, right? We have funding, we have the Relevate employee benefit, we have the employee retention credits. We're going to be offering Zoom. We're going to be offering some consumer services. So I'm leaning towards branding myself as my own agency, right? I'm the Ellen Winn agency. And I think that really encompasses everything that we're doing, because we have a David Allen Capital agency, and whatever the umbrella services that are going to be under that, it will fit if you brand yourself as an agency. So that's what I'm doing, and I think that's a good direction to go. And I'll tell you guys where that came from. I'm a member of my local chamber, and I kept seeing and hearing there are tons of insurance agents in the local chamber group. And I kept seeing and hearing these agency owners, Brandon Test Agency with State Farm, Bird Agency with this, and they were all their names, and that's how they're introducing themselves. And I'm going, okay, I really like that. So I'm now with my local chamber, I'm Ellen Winn agency with David Allen Capital. It fits. It lets everybody know that I'm the agency owner, and I think it positions me more in a professional position rather than being an independent agent with David Allen Capital. It's Ellen Winn agency now. So.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question, and welcome again. Hey, Harlequin.
Actually, Herbert, do you live in Kansas?
Yes.
Okay, you're on my team.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. So Harlequin, you want to help him figure out about the welcome email and everything?
Yeah,
Awesome.
We can do that. And if you'll wait for just a second before you hang up or shut us down, Ellen, Herbert, I'm going to send you my phone number in the chat.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I got a call in. I just had to cut it out.
I'm going to send you my phone number in the chat. And that way we can talk. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me do this too. I've got one that I'm responding to. A join. All right, Tim, I just sent you a message in the chat. If you'll go to that link, you can subscribe there. Okay. All right. Anybody else before we wrap up here? Harlequin, you still need a minute there? Any other questions?
I have sent it. I don't see, I don't really see any questions. There were a couple of, okay, actually, Ray, Relevate will not be open to Canada and currently. We don't know about in the future.
Mm-hmm. What domain do you have there, Jay? You're welcome to ask. Bobby, you got a hand up again?
Yes, Ellen, can you add me to your list like you did with Tim?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I tell you, just go to subscribe.ellenwin.link and that'll add you to my email communication series. And then you can add yourself to the text list there. It's a landing page that has a join the email list and join my text group, both. Subscribe.ellenwin.link.
Link, did you say Ellenwin.link?
.link, yep. Subscribe.ellenwin.link. You got it.
All right, thank you.
I wouldn't use a company name in there. A brand, that's a branded, that's a trademark name, Jay. I saw what you put in there. You might want to run that one, run that by support.
Actually, that one's a compliance at davidallencapital.com
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, you're right. So compliance at David Allen Capital. But thanks for asking before you get it out there and branding with it. Okay. Anybody else? We'll wrap up. We've had an inquisitive group tonight. Good stuff. Good stuff. And this is an exciting time. We were talking earlier about people not wanting to spend the time. And I think it was Joshua that was talking. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about how much time people invest in going to and getting higher education, going to 2 years of college or 4 years of college and getting a degree, right? And then after they've spent all of these years getting an education, there's no guarantee of income. Well, what if you put that kind of time and energy into being a student of your business here with DAC and really learning what is required to be out here bringing in customers and building a team and building a successful agency? In 4 years' time, with what we have just launched here, in the 4 years' time that it would take to go get a college degree, you could be earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with this opportunity, if not more. There will be people in our business making millions of dollars a year. In fact, I'm planning on being one that makes millions of dollars a month. I believe that our opportunity is that big. But invest the time, invest your heart into what you're doing, become a student. And as David has said, you're looking for 3 key things for a leader: someone that's going to get trained, become a student of the business, someone that's willing to step up and get out there and get things done and say, hey, I want to lead a team. I want to build a business and do the things that are required to do that. And also be that one that's a problem solver and not the problem. If you've got a problem that comes to you, you take it upline. You've got here you are. If you've got an upline team and that team leader can help you solve a problem that you can't handle on your own, take it upline, but never take negativity downline to your organization, because you'll douse their fire and douse their excitement quickly if you are the one that is complaining and finding problems and being that negative Nelly in your organization. So that's what I have for the night. I appreciate you all. Anything last there in the chat, Harlequin, before we wrap?
Let's see.
You are welcome, Diana.
Yeah, I just sent something to Herbert, but anyways, not that I'm seeing.
All right, excellent. All right, well, everybody have a great evening. We look forward to seeing a pay plan launch sometime this week and some more updates coming along throughout the week, I'm sure, as we have enhancements to the website. Okay, have a great night, everyone. We'll see you on the next Zoom. Take care.